welcome to my booth. I'm Jay, and today's sample's from Muhamed, looking to get tips or feedback on pronunciation and their accent, just in general. So we're going to hop to that in a moment. If you want me to give you feedback on audio of yours, there's a form in the description. Send me something. You can jump the queue by joining the booth buddies down below. There's coaching on my website if you want feedback fast and personalized, not public like this. And otherwise, just thanks for being here, and thanks for clicking them dar buttons. All right, let's hop to it. Muhamed, one small note. There was the sample in the middle of these that I'm just playing it safe with YouTube, but you sounded really good in it, and a lot of the notes that I have from these other two samples will apply just fine. So I'm snipping it out just for the sake of YouTube so we don't get flagged or anything like that. But it sounded great, and I'm just playing it safe.
Life has a peculiar way of leading us down unexpected paths. As I sit here reflecting on my journey, from the rigid pews of traditional religion to the open spaces of spiritual exploration, I'm reminded of that pivotal Sunday morning when a child's innocent question. Welcome to the heart of Central Asia, where the Asian Development Bank is driving transformative change through the Central Asia Regional Economic Cooperation Program, CEREC. CEREC Corridor 2 is one of the 6 CEREC corridors, and it's largely coincides with the Trans-Caspian International Transport Route, also known as the Middle Corridor.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Okay, so the things that I love about accent work is I just love it in general, but I usually start with this big old caveat. Nobody in the world should have to feel as though they need to neutralize their accent or their own way of speaking for the sake of, other stuff out there. I hold very strongly to that. So just as a big old disclaimer. That said, having the facility to modulate your own accent when needed. So for example, myself, if somebody wants me to shift to talking down in a little bit regional American, if I shift here to a little bit Midwestern or something, having that facility opens you up to more casting opportunities. But that's my choice is the big thing there. So just that big old caveat with accents in general. I'm not to the international market more broadly, so I want to be clear about that as well. However, what you've got going on here, Muhamed, I think is a wonderful start and totally usable accent as what I would say like a general accent that you could use in European markets, in Central Asian markets, I'm sure. There's places in American markets where this accent, your accent, as it is in this sample at the very least, because it's not totally neutralized neutral American. And I'll talk about if that's your goal, how we can head in that direction. But the accent you have here, I think would be really, really valuable in a lot of places if people are looking for this for their project. So there is that. And then just being able to modulate or neutralize depending on where you want to put your voice out there can be really valuable. And that's sort of what I'll drive towards in terms of how we can learn accents. Okay, so that out of the way. In terms of learning new accents or how you can gain control over how you use your own voice and accents, there are a couple of great ways to go about it. And the first is tracking down specific sounds in your own accent and relating it to your target accent. So for the sake of argument here, I'm going to assume that you're targeting essentially a neutral American accent like I have. And the way that we would go about this is listen to words that you're using and compare them to how I say specific words and break down the words in terms of the specific sounds within them. And the ones that are most helpful to target to start off with are generally vowel sounds, because those can be sandwiched between consonant sounds and how we use them. But vowel sounds tend to deal with how the voice is placed in the mouth and how the accent manifests. So, for example, if I'm starting with my neutral American accent, it's placed sort of here in the mouth, where if I say certain vowels and just listen to them, so A, E, and I'm demonstrating with my hand sort of where I feel them placed in my mouth. A, E, I, O, U. A-E-I-O-U. So then if I track that to specific words, say, or corporation. I'm switching to British for some reason. Corporation, operation. Then if I modulate to British, corporation, corporation. American, corporation. British, corporation. You hear that the placement moves a bit forward from my natural American speaking voice and sits a little bit more closer to the teeth. Whereas if I move my American accent, here it is here. And then if I shift to a separate type of American accent, corporation, then I can move to different accents. Corporation. Here I am in, Eastern Europe, Russia, whatever. Corporation. This seems to sit more in my throat and the vowels are resonating in the back of my mouth here. Corporation. Operation. So we get specific about that vowel sound. O, or, all. Operation. And so we can track that through the different words, the way you say them, and compare it to accents that you're targeting in general. So a great resource is the International Dialects of English Archive. I would definitely refer anybody looking to learn a new accent there. It's a wonderful resource that has standardized readings that you can pick out different vowel sounds. But let's listen to your specific speech and see if we can help you target sounds that you'll want to work on if you're looking for a true neutral American accent.
Life has a peculiar way of leading us down unexpected paths.
Down. So your natural life has a. I'm not good at your accent, but life.
Life has a peculiar way of leading us down.
Down, own. This is kind of how I hear your down. Not perfect, but it's placed somewhat here and a little bit up. Whereas for an American accent, it would be down, Let's get specific.
Us down
unexpected paths. Down.
Unexpected.
So that's where we would get specific. And this is me being super fine-tooth comb. Sorry, I popped the mic there. And then there were a couple other here that are specific. Generally, your pronunciation is really, really solid. I'm just getting really specific because we can.
Is driving transformative change through the central.
So there, in most English accents at this point in time, we don't trill our R's unless it's for a aesthetic choice. Say, for example, if I'm doing a old-timey British fellow who uses words like chap, perhaps I will trill my R's for effect. But outside of that, I haven't heard trills. So the through here, well, that might be natural for your accent. That would be something that you would change to through. So instead of through, it would be through. And then
Asia Regional Economic Cooperation Program, CEREC. CEREC Corridor 2 is one of the 6 CEREC corridors, and it's largely coincides with the Trans-Caspian International Transport Route.
So the other thing that we can think of is the music and ease of different accents. Right now, your focus is you're really into the diction of things, which makes sense as you're learning an accent. You'll very focus and hit a lot of words very deliberately at times. Whether or not you're intending this, it's somewhat what I'm hearing. And as you get more comfortable relaxing the consonants, if your target is a neutral American, that is, relaxing the consonants to a degree where there's an ease behind them when needed. You can dip into this if it is required of the project, but for example, this first little section.
Welcome to the heart of Central Asia.
Welcome to the heart of Central Asia. A lot of those consonants, welcome to the heart of Central Asia. Each of those are hit fairly hard.
Welcome to the heart of Central Asia.
And you can be easier about it. Welcome to the heart of Central Asia. And that's just like a small nuance thing. But the way to start it generally, just because I'm getting so hyper nuanced and focused, because this is something that I nerd out about, the way to start, because you have a really great foundation here, to be very clear, getting specific about vowel sounds. So compare like specific phrases and getting a facility there to target the sounds that you're not hitting perfectly, if that's a goal of yours. And the way to do that is listen to naturalized accents in the target accent, so American, for example, and how the words would be said there, and getting a sense of where it's placed in the mouth. So if I say goose versus goose, or goose, ooh, 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 ooh. That's a flow through the different accents that I just did. And you can target that mouth placement, and generally it holds and helps you get closer overall. And then the music of accents, how different people talk overall in terms of their day-to-day life. This I heard less in your reads here, but a classic example in my own training, American accents tend to use less pitch. So I won't be talking up and down to make my points. Americans, perhaps stereotypically, will use volume to convey points more often than pitch. In many respects, it's not a global rule. There are dialects where that breaks down. But overall, American volume, whereas British will often use pitch and tone to convey things. So this sort of thing that I'm doing naturally, you can map out the different ways in which accents have a music to them. So if I'm listening to British English and I'm tracing the voice there versus American English, where it kind of rests in a straighter line and it has less of a, that's another thing you can do. I feel as though I'm rambling, but I hope some of this is helpful to you because you've got a really, really good foundation going, and I hope this was helpful for you. I nerded out and blathered. But thanks for sending this in, my friend. It was really, really lovely to hear your work, and you've got a wonderful start here in terms of the accents that you're targeting and pronunciation in particular, at least to my ear. So I look forward to hearing more, my friend. Until the next one, everybody, be well, and I'll see you there. Toodles.